G'day everyone. Barkarati is now brought to you by Disruptor Marine Marketing, using AI to help your marine business grow. And our friends at Radix Nutrition, the most technically comprehensive nutrition products ever to exist. Unlock your potential with Radix. G'day listeners. Welcome to Barkarati, the sailing podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer. It's that time of the week where we get to hang out with some really cool sailors, but of course I have to share the mic with my two idiot mates. So first off, let's welcome Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, Exalted One.
BP.
We do get to hang out with some really cool sailors. And last week's episode, I've got to say, Jay, has gotten some serious response.
Yeah. Karen's
I've got to say, there has been some serious feedback on the waterfront as well as emails. So, how good?
There's
Karen Gosnich.
It went unreal, and she was a great guest, and it was wonderful to have her on the show. A lot of people were really happy to hear her on the show. Also, a lot of people been firing back with changing the word standard to Stacey. That's been that has taken off around the emails I've got, so that's been good. So speaking of the standard, let's bring in our super sub. Please welcome to the show.
You guys know how it's hard to be friends with me because I'm so awesome?
Miss Stacey Jackson.
I'm going to be able to come into the show without laughing soon, but for now I will just giggle at that intro.
Damn it. Well, when that happens, we've got to think of something else, Stace.
Yeah, exactly. Good to be the sub this week. I can report I have seen Bitey.
Yeah.
He is alive and well and out there in the world. So.
And you've been
not asleep in a park?
Well, not when I saw him, but there's still time.
That was at 2:00 in the afternoon, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were doing Sardinia Cup, I assume.
Yes, I was. Yeah, I've just touched down in Australia actually yesterday. After a big week, Mistral blew all like a proper strong Mistral.
Nice.
For most of the week, so that was
a leveler. The leveler.
Yeah, it was very much. So unfortunately, it did level us a little bit on the long race. So we had to carry some extra points on the Jolt and Rand team, but overall, I think it was an awesome week of sailing in Sardinia. When is it a bad week of sailing?
Good point. Good point. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that, I think. But what we might do is bring in our guest, because this one is
it's an ongoing conversation, isn't it, Joe?
It is, and I guess our involvement sort of, I don't know how to describe, whether it was the ORC discussion that brought everything in, after the ORC Worlds, and then we received a lot of phone calls talking about rating systems. We did an episode with Brett Whitbread, episode 349, and then we've had some emails off the top of my head, emails from Anton Prange, who was talking about some of the systems for better handicapping and stuff like that, what he calls the DPR system, which was really, really cool discussion. And then, so there's this ongoing discussion. And the important thing here is what we want to do is work out, we want to make the whole conversation right, around what is happening, and how we can make it easy for people who, we want all those yachts being rated and going racing and having fun. The great joy of sailing keelboats is that they're all different, so we need a rating system. And then, it's always like anything around trying to keep things to a standard. There's always controversy, but the poor buggers that have to fight through keeping things to a Stacey. Sorry, my apologies. I slipped. Well done.
Got to get a grip on the English language, Dave.
Well done.
You're meant to be the language connoisseur of us, and you keep stuffing it up.
It's true. So some of the poor big people that have to make this happen is, they've got a tough job. And so we wanted to hear the perspective from someone in that role. So we've got the ratings manager for Australian Sailing, Chris Zonca, here to join us on Barkarati. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you. A pleasure to be here. I am actually a listener, by the way, too. So
Uh-oh.
not here cold.
Uh-oh.
And I did know to call her, call all my new standard certificate Stacey certificates.
IRC Stacey.
Yeah. Taking over the world.
Geez, we've got an ability to change the world, haven't we, Jay?
My Lord.
And Stace.
We have.
How does it feel, Stace? Does it feel good?
Chris, can we just
Not sure.
let's get this on record that during whatever boat Stace does the Hobart or whatever on next, when they get in a new IRC certificate, if they go the standard, just put IRC Stace on it, right? And that would just one certificate printed that way would go gold, I reckon.
I'll talk to the IRC and see if they'll do that specifically for us. Yeah.
I feel like if it's my namesake, I should get like some privileges.
Oh,
with
royalties.
rating certificates.
Off air, Stacey.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later, Zonca.
So,
Righto. First off, let's talk about you, mate. Like you're a walking cripple at the moment, as you were showing us all the appendages and the structure you've got around your knee. So my sympathies to you, my friend. Would you slip down the ramp?
Yeah, I was carrying my dinghy gear down to the beach, and I snapped it as I stepped onto the sand. So
Wow.
so I've got matching knees now, so I'm pretty disappointed, but I'll be back. So it's only temporarily out of action.
Well, it must be hard to limp with legs.
It is, but
Is it still a limp when they're both?
Yeah, that's right. It's not anymore. It's a standard.
That's right. Yeah.
Look at him staceying down the street.
Here comes Zonca. He's stationing down the road.
Oh dear.
My surgeon wouldn't give me a 2-for-1 offer either, which is a bit disappointing.
Oh.
But anyway,
But what is it? A reconstruction?
no, I had to reattach my quadricep tendon to my patella, and I've had to do that
major.
on both sides. Both sides.
Yeah, that's not good. Not good.
Nothing major.
Not good.
No, that's all right. You'll get over it.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
So let's talk about you, just your passion for sailing and how you got into sailing, just so we can give some perspective. Because I know for a fact that you've done, I don't know, I'm guessing about half a dozen Hobarts or even slightly more. So, so keelboat racing's your thing, but you're also a dinghy guy as well.
Well, actually, to tell you the truth, I started in tasers and in Sharpies up at Keppel Bay Sailing Club.
Fantastic. That's a good combination. Sharpies at Keppel Bay.
Yeah. I used to sail with Marty Watson in a boat called Comfortably Numb. We used to have a lot of fun. So it was good days in the Sharpies. But I'd like to see more of them floating around. There's none of them in Sydney though.
No, that is disappointing, isn't it? It's one of those sort of things. The class doesn't really sort of take it on here because of the skiffs, I suppose.
Yeah. But I mean, anyway, they're a good boat. But look, I've sailed since I was 15-year-old. So started off in little boats, and I am actually predominantly a dinghy sailor, and then I just got directed into offshore and yacht racing, which I have enjoyed. And I've done 9 Hobarts.
Oh, there you go.
And I've actually retired. Mind you, everyone says I should be doing 10, but I'm going to stop at 9.
You can't stop at an odd number. That doesn't meet the standard. Come on.
No, it doesn't meet the Stacey, I know. But I mean,
I love it.
You never know. The best I've done, I was on Wicked back in 2008, where we were the first loser. So I did actually have a thought that I would keep going until I can actually get the first prize, but sort of given up on that idea. It's too hard.
You've kind of got to be born with the win. I'm afraid it's one of those things. I'm still chasing. So
me too.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, you've either got it or you don't have it. It's sort of in the zen of it all. It's up in the sky.
That's right. Yeah, it's a pie that you can chase, but you can never actually get it. But some people do. But anyway.
Well, some people get it more than others.
Hang on. Let's just throw this out there then. Chasing a Hobart win. You're the ratings guy.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got an idea. Next year, let's all go together on the same boat with Chris.
Yeah,
We should
yeah.
probably
I've
talk
had that
about that offline as well, right?
No. It's one thing I do try to maintain is integrity. But I mean, look. So I've been sailing for a long time. I've been involved in yacht racing for too many years, and I've done lots and lots of ocean miles. And I really do enjoy it. Actually, to tell you the truth, the best fun I had was last year when I was invited on URM for a trip down to Flinders Islet and back, and we blew away the race record. That was hard. That's going to be hard to live past, I can tell you.
I was going to be cheeky there and say, what did URM break? And they broke the race record.
Yeah, we broke the record. Still finished second though, but anyway, it was good fun. So,
that's a good breakage.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I was really it was pretty impressive. I could sit on a boat at 25 to 30 knots any day of the week if you wanted to let me do it.
How cool is that? That we've got to that stage on yachts. This is where ratings come in. The right ratings are working. That you can sit on a boat doing 25 to 30 knots in a keelboat. Like, that's insane.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But mind you, they don't have a second gear. They only have one gear. It's
go and stop. We know that.
Yeah. But look, I've been in Australian sailing for 7 years now as the rating manager. For a background, I've got a physics background, and I've got a Masters of Education and a few other things going on for me. But I mean, the maths and physics has proven to be really useful in this field. So I've developed quite a lot of skill in knowing how to help boats, and I do try to help boats quite a lot. Like, I answer, I don't know how many calls a day. It's insane. Sometimes I'm on the phone more than I'm actually able to process certificates because of trying to help people, and that's why I really want to be here and try and help explain things and so that people get a better understanding of what happens with a certificate. So
look, it's a topic, would you believe, that probably creates the most interest because it relates to every single person who's got a boat. Now, whether it be yardstick or whether it be the IRC club or IRC, the highest level, everyone is wanting to know the ins and outs of it and try and get an understanding of it. There's obviously an element of frustration for some and, not for others, but it's one of those sort of topics that no matter how much we talk about it, we can do hours and hours, couldn't we, guys?
I'm just interested as what will be a successful measure of this episode, with whether you get more phone calls or you get less. That's
Well, look, if you're looking at it from a point of view of the amount of certificates, for instance, look, one of the things we're talking about here is trying to promote sailing.
Yep.
IRC and both of them, in reality, are sort of plateauing out a bit at the moment, and we're not quite sure why. Whether it's just people, not able to spend the time to do it, or it's getting too expensive, or whatever it is, but both rating systems are plateauing out, and it's similar to the rest of our sport a little bit. We need to sort of try and promote it and improve it. I personally think that racing with a rating is far better than PHS.
100%.
Because PHS, tends to reward mediocrity. Like, the first thing is, when you want to win a race, you've actually got to sail the thing well. Like, you can't win a race and botch a couple of tacks, for instance. If you botch a tack, you shouldn't expect to win a race. I know in longer race you can probably botch one or two, but I mean, you've still got to be right on the money to win races.
And I think a perfect example of that, Chris, but the perfect example of this is what we're talking about now is in ORC, for example, the little controversy we had at the start of this, or the end of last European season, with the XR41 coming in and being stacked with the best crew, and and it happens to quite a lot of boats, and it going out and sailing what they sort of said was relatively above their handicap. Now, that is a really sort of big term that I'd love to really touch on, because that's a number, that is sort of an area that every sailor should be aiming for to maximise their efficiency on the water. But the key is here is, when is it fair and when is it not fair? That's what we're trying to achieve.
Well, I was actually in Tallinn. I was actually on the technical committee for the world titles in Tallinn when the XR41 was racing. Now that boat they were spot on. Their crew work, the whole boat was prepared absolutely factory. It was equivalent to a factory boat, and it was sailed well. But I mean, again, it wasn't unbeatable. So like upwind, it struggled a little bit. Off the breeze, it goes really well. But again, it had a fully pro crew on it. It was a factory team effectively. But part of the problem, this is like that controversy that we're talking about, is really an ORC European, Southern European, Northern European. I was at the Congress.
Dogfight.
Yeah. It was a real dogfight, and you can see when you're in Europe that Southern Europe and Northern Europe, they just don't get along. And,
why is that?
No, I don't know why. And so there was all this banter on there, and we ended at the Congress. I actually helped them delay making the decision because they were about to make what I thought was a really stupid decision, but like specifically targeting a boat, which to me is not what rating systems are about. And they should be. They did go away, and they came back with a far better solution, and I think it's good now. So,
right.
But they went back and changed their VPP, and the VPP is the program that they use that calculates the velocity of the boat under all the wind strengths and directions. And they actually went back and found a scientific solution instead of we're just going to put a cutoff figure specifically for this boat into the system. And it was a wrong thing, and it was bad press big time. And it was so specific as well, which was annoying.
So, sorry, I didn't mean to step over you there. Sorry, did you let you finish your thoughts?
You're right.
Okay. I think for the listener, we sort of mentioned it, but maybe you could explain the generic differences with IRC and ORC. There's, because you sort of touched on the key element just then, so I thought I'd just...
Yeah.
No,
I was hoping, yeah. So IRC is always a bit of a problem for everybody because their rule, the actual calculation is a black box. It's behind an iron curtain. Well, I don't even get anywhere near having a look at it, and they won't even allow the calculation to be done outside of their office. So, it's an absolute black box.
It's stored in the safe with the Coke formula and the Kentucky Fried Chicken formula and stuff like that. Is it?
Exactly. Yeah. Now, the IRC collects very few measurements. It's quite interesting, really. They collect quite a smaller number of measurements, but if you look at their results, they actually come up with pretty good ratings. So whatever's behind it is actually quite good. There's no doubt about it. So I'm assuming, this is a guess by me, is that they do have some sort of VPP or velocity prediction program, which is running in the background, which we never see. The difference between IRC and ORC is that ORC, even though the VPP is effectively a black box for us, it produces, if anyone looks at their IRC certificate, it produces all of the expected velocities for the wind strengths between 4 knots and 24 knots, and for basically every direction. So if you're looking at an IRC certificate, it gives you all those predictions. So if you're on a boat and you're looking at it and you think, I do 8 knots going up to wind, this only says I should be doing 7, I'd shut up. But it just means that, you're sailing to where the boat should be. And it's good from that point of view, is that you can see what the boat should do in ORC. IRC, we're getting a single number, and it does a pretty good job in general. But you've got to remember too that IRC's single number is for an average wind strength and an average wind, and not so much average wind strength, virtually for random wind strength and random wind direction for a race. So if you have a race, particularly Hobart, for instance, where you have some upwind, some downwind, and you have light wind, heavy wind, the actual result there is going to be probably the best sailor. What can happen, of course, is that you have a race where it's all downwind and one number doesn't work.
Brisbane to Gladstone.
Yeah, just a sled ride.
Last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not the most
and that's
recent
a
one.
common thing.
And you got to start.
Yeah, and you got to start at the right end of the line.
Well, no, you can start. You just got to be on the right side of the line.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right end, isn't it? Yeah, right.
Sorry,
Right,
Stace.
right end. Yeah. It is too soon, by the way.
Too soon.
It's too early. Too soon. Yeah.
The wound is
but-
still open.
So and like the differences are, ORC appears more open, but of course you don't know what the VP. Not even I know what the VPP does, but you do see the output from it, so you can be normally confident that it's calculating relatively close to what the boat can do. People get a bit, they say, "Oh, it says I can do 9 knots up to windward," and I said I can only do 7. But the thing is, the 9 knots is in dead flat water, and calm and continuous wind conditions. So you tend to not quite achieve the wind strength, the speeds that it says, unless you're in absolute dead calm water. But and that's sometimes a problem. The other thing is that when the ORC, the number that you see on the ORC, like when it comes up with a final number, which IRC calls it TCC, ORC calls it what have I just had a brain snap?
BPH or something, wasn't it?
APH.
APH.
Yeah. So what the APH is actually a calculation. When you're looking at the certificate, there's 2 blocks of numbers. I know there's lots and lots of numbers on a ORC certificate, but the second page has all the numbers laid out as in seconds per nautical mile. So what happens is all those numbers just go, they use that just to calculate the APH. So it means that you can, like a person, an authority can just say, we've got the Gladstone race, which is going to be all downwind. If you really wanted to, you could just take the downwind speeds of the boats and just make an average from that and plug it in and give everybody their new rating based on those numbers only. So if we wanted to square up a downhill race, you could easily do it with ORC, which you can't do with IRC, but I mean, it's just the differences in the system. So, so those calculations on the ORC are all just based on the numbers that are on the page. You can actually sit down and recalculate your rating anytime you like if you want. So it's quite a lot different. ORC also collects a lot more measurements. If you start to compare the 2 systems, IRC collects very few, but like for instance, the differences are IRC, you need to weigh your boat, for instance. ORC, the weight is calculated from freeboards. So you just measure freeboards and go backwards from there. But they collect so many other measurements like mast dimensions and mast and heights of your spinnaker hoists and height of your forestay and all sorts of stuff. There's a huge number of measurements, which makes it a lot more complex just to get your certificate in place initially. So, yep. So I can see you wanted to ask a question.
Oh no, I just with IRC, BP talked about IRC Club, and there's IRC Stacey that we're talking about. So I just want to understand the differences there.
Okay, so what's happened is we never used to allow an IRC non-endorsed certificate. So up until 3 years ago, we only ever allowed IRC to have an endorsed certificate, which meant that it had to be measured, had to be physically lifted out of the water and weighed, which was a fairly expensive process. So 3 years ago, we changed over to allow IRC Stacey's to be released. And and the difference is that an owner can actually measure their own boat. They can estimate their weight, and then they can just apply for a certificate. The certificate cost is not a lot different, but you don't have the measure expense, you don't have the weighing expense, and you can just go in and do it. So, for instance, if people have currently got an endorsed certificate and they're coming up to 10 years and need weighing, and they think, I only race around the bay, they don't have to. All they do is switch over to standard, keep the same weight, and you just keep going on your thing and save some money. So, and in that respect, is an ORC club is the same, is that an owner can measure it. An ORC club uses a really compressed set of data, which people can easily get themselves. It doesn't use, the full mass data. and a whole pile of stuff is estimated for an ORC club, which allows people to do the same thing in ORC club as they do in standard certificates.
So I had a question about the IRC standard, Stacey. What happens if I was the measurer for the boat? What would the certificate then be called?
An IRC Stacey. Or a standard Stacey.
I love how you're just...
We can workshop it. Yeah.
It's a good point, but it's a good point what you're saying there, and you bring it up. So basically, IRC, unendorsed IRC certificate, which is what, so we brought Matere, the IC37, into Australia in January. Obviously, it was get the boat off the ship, get it ready, get it sorted, and then we needed to get a rating to compete in Port Stephens, for example, which was an unendorsed regatta. Yes. In other words, we could use a standard certificate where we just went off the existing parameters. We had to get our sails measured because there were some different sails, and off we go. Now, for example, and this is an interesting one, is that Hamilton Island is an endorsed certificate only. So we have to weigh the boat in July and then go through the process, which is fine, because I guess what I'm trying to say here is that, ratings are trying to cater for yachting in general. Okay, ORCI and IRC endorsed is your high level stuff, is your ratings that are going to be required for the bigger events, and then your ORC club and your IRC unendorsed is what you can have, to sail and your club events. That's kind of what we're trying to achieve.
Yes, yeah, and that's what is starting to happen. The reason that there's not a lot of standards at the moment in Australia is that because we've had endorsed for so long,
everyone's still on them.
Even though those boats can just continue to be endorsed until they, like you say, they need to weigh it or something, because weighing's an expensive process.
Absolutely, it is.
And it just takes time, and like we've only got one set of scales. We did have a lot of trouble with weighing at one point in time because of just the scales. Trying to get accurate scales was a nightmare. So Australian Sailing 2 years ago managed to buy a set, and so now we do have a set of scales which has taken away one big problem that we used to have with weighing. So
my bathroom scales read 20% over for sure.
Yeah, bathroom scales. Yeah. So are mine. They're horrible. But look, what happens? There's always a bit of a problem, because organising authorities, so Hamilton Island has their organising authority and Hobart has their organising authority. They can set whatever they really want in their certificate. So it's a customer drive. If you want Hamilton Island, for instance, to accept standard certificates, it's really got to be driven from the sailors, unfortunately. Australian Sailing, we can say, we've been getting lots of complaints about this and people would like to see it go standard. But when it comes to the crunch, it's the OA's call. So we can't do much about it from that point of view.
It's my personal opinion, and this is just an opinion, that, big events like that, I think that the endorsed certificate is the way to go, because ultimately you're getting a boat that's correctly weighed. What we're trying to eradicate here, and I'm not saying it happens often, is that people do manipulate the numbers, and that's a problem we have with unendorsed and club level sailing, because there's a lot of people that just think about winning and think about how they can do it without the performance side of things.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of that. And that's where there's you go to any dinghy regatta, what's the first thing that happens?
Yeah, big regatta, you go through a measurement process.
You go through a full measurement process. I've just been up at the Fins, and we measured every single boat. Every single boat.
The Fins are particularly diligent. They do the swing test. They do all sorts of shit.
Yeah, it was an eye opener for me, and plus it made me an IM by going there. So I'm happy with that.
Congratulations.
One too, but I mean, I've been pushing, I don't know for how many years, 3-4 years, to get organising committees in Australia to put what we call technical committees in place. Now, technical committees solve all of the bar karate problems.
Geez, there's a shitload of them.
The big committee.
Where do we start?
We can fix that.
But I mean, we've installed, there's a technical committee. There's always a technical committee in place now for Hobart, right? Biggest problem is we're still struggling to get through the entire fleet. I've been part of the technical committee for the Hobart now for 3 years, and the target is to try and get every boat inspected, but there's not enough of us at the moment, and we just only get through about half to three quarters of the fleet. But even that half to three quarters of the fleet, we would find 30% of them have a problem. So, and the only way to solve this is for organising authorities to have technical committees every time, because it just means that, you don't have to get one owner protesting another owner because they think their boat's wrong. Okay. Not that someone can't approach a technical committee and say, oh, that boat's wrong and do it. But I mean, the technical committee can go and inspect boats, and as soon as they find something wrong, you just lodge a protest. They just lodge the protest, and the bar karate problem goes away. No one's whinging at the bar that you're cheating. The technical committee handles this, and I've been struggling to try and get technical committees in place.
Is that a cost thing? Is it a cost thing that's the problem?
Well, look, there is a slight cost problem. Like typically, like for the Australian Yachting Championships, for instance, Australian Sailing, we supply the technical. Well, they supply me as being the technical chairman to do the inspection, and we grab local people. So there's not for that regatta, it's covered by AS. The Hobart, it's covered. It's not that expensive because we're just pulling local people out at this end and we pull local people at the other end, and it's not seriously expensive. Someone like Hamo, for instance, unfortunately, would be an expense because you've got to get someone there to do the work. But generally speaking, any coastal regatta, it's not a big problem. Like, you can get local people in to do it, and the more that if more and more people took this up, it would solve a lot of problems. Exactly what you're talking about.
And what qualifications do those local people that you use on the technical committee, what do they need to have?
Ideally, they can be should be a measurer, or at least your chairman probably should be a measurer, an appointed measurer. And with some experience would be good. In reality, you don't have to be, but it's better. It's better if you know what it's all about to measure. You have someone on board who's a safety auditor, because then your technical committee then can do the safety as well as the boat auditing, and so you get another dot T crossed, and another I dotted just by having your technical committee in place with the right people. So typically a measurer, like we could have Stacey on the technical committee if she ever picks up a tape measure. So, but yeah.
And next one, I'll be home for the next one.
Well, yeah, right, okay.
Yeah.
Stacey, just by the way, is a measurer. I've trained her.
Yeah.
I see.
Trained. That's as far as I've gone
in-house
so
joke.
far.
Okay, get it now. Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay, so what we are talking here is obviously now we're still talking about club and sort of unendorsed certificates. What we want, and look, we've got to say out loud that we believe that 90% of the people are doing the right thing. It's an honor sport, even when we're out there racing in the middle of the night. And I say, talk for myself here. It's an honor sport. Sailing is an honor sport, and we have to continue to push that is the case. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to say, okay, we're going to have a safety and a spot measurement check at each major event moving forward for unendorsed and club certificates, and then making sure that we have people putting the right weights in, because ultimately there is going to be the bad egg somewhere.
Yeah, the weight's always a problem. That's
Yeah, it's a big thing.
Yeah, look, it's quite significant, the difference. Like I said before, I was on the technical committee at Tallinn for the ORC Worlds last year. They, after every race, one boat had to light ship after every race. Actually it was three boats, one from each division, had to light ship for us to redo the freeboards after every race. So if you were in 1, 2, or 3, you had one of your boats had to empty all the gear off to be freeboarded.
Yeah, but look. Here's my point on that one. Is the ORC Worlds, for example, it's not a small event. It's a massive event. A lot of people spend a lot of money, and I just think that's part of it. And if you're going to a regatta and you get your name pulled out of the hat because you know it's happening, I don't think it's a bad thing, because I think what you've got a sort of a halo effect of shit. I better do the right thing because this could go bad for me.
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
Once you do,
their attitude too.
Once you go with one goat, you know what I mean.
But the thing here too, like
Stacey's got it.
Doing inspections at the Hobart, doing inspections before the Hobart, everybody welcomes it. Okay,
Yep.
Nobody rejects you unless your timing's bad. But I mean, we try to make sure we're doing it when they're try to tell them when we're coming. But I mean, everybody understands it, and they support it, highly support it. They, because they know that people are getting checked. They know that stuff's being picked up, and the thing is, if we do these technical inspections more regularly, it means that when you come to these major events, you can be confident that your boat's right.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So it's a good thing.
Okay, so one of the questions Brett raised, and I need to understand this one: why, if you buy a boat that's got a measurement certificate, do you have to get it remeasured?
You don't. It doesn't have to be fully remeasured.
And stay unendorsed.
Yeah, if you buy a boat and it's been measured 2 years ago, for instance,
Right.
It's really just a matter of I typically say we just send a measurer out and they just check through a few measurements and you check the sails. So it doesn't normally require a full remeasurement. What happens here is we do have a problem with weighing. So what happens is if a boat hasn't been weighed for 5 years and changes owner, we ask for it to be weighed. If it just changes ownership, what we'll tend to do is get it light shipped and just measure the freeboards and measure the overhangs. And if they still line up, normally that's acceptable. Okay, if there's a radical variation in the overhangs, we'll probably say, you'll need to.
I can vouch for that, because that's what I just did that with Ian in Grenaria, and we were within, depending on the day, obviously, we were within millimeters of what the existing. It was a 2-year-old certificate, obviously was out of date, but those numbers were similar, and therefore the unendorsed certificate got approved.
Yeah.
But why does changing ownership require anything?
Well, okay, I'll give you some examples.
Yep, that'd be great.
Aft rigging. We've had major troubles with aft rigging. Okay, and what happens is that as owners, people go through with their boat, they think, I need runners this month. So they go and stick runners on, for instance, and then they forget that they've put runners on and it may not make it to the next certificate. It's not being done deliberately. It's just, I forgot we put runners on. And then it gets sold to somebody else and they just assume that everything's right. Okay, so then they don't check their runners either. So you end up with, this was one of the particular problems we had at Hobart. And I've had this a number of different regattas where the aft rigging doesn't match, because people seem to put runners on, take runners off, put check stays on, it just changed. They change their backstay arrangements quite regularly, or they change the keel, for instance. Even if it's a really small change, or change the rudder. That's another thing that happens. It doesn't get reported, and then suddenly someone's got a carbon rudder and they've just forgotten to report it. It's not that they didn't report it. Typically what happens nowadays, though, is we know that a rudder breaks and I'm onto it. But occasionally, a lot of the times you don't know things break, or you don't know, forestays rip out of decks for some reason, and it just doesn't get carried through on the certificate. So therefore, when it changes ownership, it's a good opportunity to
square up.
Yeah, to make sure everything is right. And we normally don't ask for a full remeasure. Unless we get a problem. If we get a problem, we say, well, you got to go.
Which was my point.
Yeah. and that's the way we try to deal with it. So the big, like 10 years is the 10 years we expect you to reweigh a boat for a endorsed certificate. And it's interesting too, ORC used to expect you to re-incline every 5 years, but now they've taken that out to 10 years, which is actually a good thing, because we used to have to re-incline a boat every 5 years. And not that I don't think that's a big problem on people, just, you know, that you have to re-incline. It's normally a good thing to re-incline because boats tend to lose stability over time. So because their canoe bodies get heavier relative to their keels. So it's not a bad thing to get re-inclined, but yeah, they have taken it out to 10 years, which used to be 5 years, for instance. So that's, you know, some changes that are making life easier for people.
Kind of,
yeah.
in that every time you re-incline, you got to change your standing rigging. Sort of, that's almost should, you know, because that's just a thought process. You know, like you'd have a checklist on a boat. Any good boat would run through a checklist and, you know, have a calendar of when you got to do things, like a service program.
Yeah, look, I've actually, like, I talk to the measurers because I'm responsible for all the measurers in Australia as well, and I've actually I send out reports to them all the time, and so there has been a new emphasis on making sure that if they go past a boat, just to check it, you know, so that they can say, oh, you know, maybe your aft rigging's not right, for instance, or, you know, this doesn't look right. Because we have like silly little problems, like they changed the way they measure spinnaker poles, right? Mm-hmm. Back in and Sydney 38s, this is continuous because Sydney 38s only measure the pole. So every time you get a Sydney 38 and you put an IRC certificate, their spinnaker pole is too short. So you've got to, the spinnaker pole is actually longer than the measurement. Yep. And it's just because they measure it one way for their class certificate, and then it's actually measured differently for an IRC certificate and an ORC certificate for that matter. So simple little things like that people can sort of just keep on top of, and it solves problems long term. So yeah.
So what would be, are there any things that, you know, we're looking for fairness, right? We had a long discussion around fairness. The club thing, I think, comes to my point. I guess this might be your answer, but if we're trying to make it like the entry level person that's just coming and buying their first yacht, and they're not getting into all this, but they want to be rated so they can do events in clubs. Like, are we trying to make it easier for people? Is that part of our program going forward? Well,
trouble is, ORC, if you're talking ORC club, for instance, it's relatively easy. But I mean, there are problems. First thing is the rule. I don't know if you ever had a look at the rules. The IRC rule is 40 pages, I think, and the ORC is 2 books that you got to read. So there is
written by Frank Bethwaite.
Oh, yeah, yes. You got to be interesting. You got to be keen to read it, I can tell you. But I have had to read it quite a few times.
What's your favourite chapter?
The one that just says the end.
Acknowledgements.
Yeah, acknowledgements. But I mean, there's a lot of rules, unfortunately, and we've had some discussions recently about having people out there who can help people, like people that understand the rules, but there's very few people, unfortunately, that really have a deep and meaningful understanding of the rule, because there's lots of little things in there that can trick people up, unfortunately. But to make it easier, like the standard certificates do make it easier. If clubs have measuring days, like if you just sit down and say, yeah, we're going to have a measuring day, you know, next Saturday, everyone just rock up and you just get a few measurers on board. Most clubs now, well, not most clubs, but there's quite a few measurers around, and I need to get them a bit more engaged in measuring and picking up tape measures. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. You're talking about me again.
I mean, and then
you put the club measuring on at Royal Queensland when I was away. So.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, you were away. But I mean, and that sort of thing, if you get clubs involved and get them to get a few measurers together or organise measurement days, you know, that's another way to, like, for instance, Middle Harbour has measurement days. They got one coming up at the end of July, and another one. Oh, no, sorry, actually, it's the end of June, and the next one's in August, where it's just specifically for them to anyone that wants to be measured. They just register for measurement, and they got a few measurers there that'll just go and help people measure their boats. So I think this is one good way around it is to get. It's only cordial, by the way. Is to get for clubs to get involved in that respect and actually have measurement days to get people more engaged in it, because it's very daunting. I've got to admit, it's very daunting.
Okay.
It's probably where you're touching on here, isn't it, Jay? You were sort of talking about people, newcomers, and how do we stop that sort of fear, I guess, of the rating situation? Because when people are new to sailing, it can be quite daunting, like you just said. I don't know. It's one of those things. You want to try and promote sailing, and then all of a sudden you get these new people in, and then they go, "Well, I've got to do all this." You know, like how do you sort of manage that? I mean, that's a big thing.
Yeah, and the other thing too, it's like I've made it all digital now too. It's all your application now is done through the Australian Sailing website, for instance. And some people struggle with computers, I must admit, which makes it hard. But I mean, yeah, like things that make it easy for me and make it easier for me to get you a decent rating is a good description of the boat. The number of times I've received an application saying that it's a 30-foot sloop, that's it. It's just not it. So I mean, to help to say that I can help people get a rating correctly, you know, if you do an application, the more information, there's no such thing as too much info. You know, like if I can get photos of the boat, if I can get as many measurements, you know, if they can get all the measurements, and even if I can't get all the measurements, I can derive a lot of them for club, which is the beauty of club. I can derive them from other boats, which makes life easy. But as much information as possible, like saying 30-foot sloop is not good enough. I need to know, you know, what type of sloop it is and stuff like that. Like most times for a club initially, just to get them in the water, I can derive all the sales. Like if someone comes to me and says they've got a first 40, for instance, I can basically clone another first 40 most of the time and then just adjust it with if they've got different measurements on things. So it can be quite easy for a person to get into a club certificate with little information initially. And then you can have your technical committees. They don't have to be ogres. They can come along and say, oh, you know, your certificate's not quite right, and help them fix it. You know, technical committees don't have to be ogres, and they can be there as assistants. Like Victoria at the moment is looking at trying to get a statewide technical committee in place. And their job could be exactly this, you know, helping people navigate the rating world as such. So, yeah.
So there's a whole discussion around PHS and standardising that I think we're not going to get to, and Anton's DPR system. Have you seen that? Have you seen the brief on that at all, by the way?
I have spoken to Anton, and he was going to send me something, but I haven't got it.
I'll send it to you. Oh, Anton listens, so if you're listening, Anton, send it through. I guess because we're going to run out of time, so I want to ask the one thing, like what's the one thing or the things that you want to say to people out there that are yacht owners or crews or whatever that are doing certificates? What are the key things? What are the key messages you want to get across?
Well, key messages are, like, if you want a certificate, if you're looking for an IRC certificate, see if you can chase down a local measurer. Like, the local mesurers will help you get through the application process. Most of them will charge you. That's the first thing I do. Find a local measurer, and you can find that off this resources page, because if you go to the Australian Sailing resources page and go to rating certificates, there's a drop down menu there to help you find a measurer. So you just go in and find it, and these guys will help without a doubt. They'll put all the information onto a form for you and get it in place and send it to me. The other things is for ORC, there's plenty of resources for helping to measure, but I think, talking to your club captains and talking to anybody that has a certificate will generally help you get involved. Ring me by all accounts. I answer as many calls as I can, but I do get fairly busy, and emailing me is the best way to go. Like, you can send
you need to get some disruptive marketing in your back office, a little bit of AI going, mate. I've got the perfect deal for you, have I?
Oh, have you? Good. But I mean, like ratings at sailing.org.au is, if you want anything, you can just email me. I generally respond pretty rapidly, but at the moment, like, it's a really busy time because we've currently opened our IRC. All of our IRC revalidations are happening right now, and all of the ORC revalidations have started this week. So I want to bring in sort of a point here, which is probably going to segue to a part 2 of this conversation, Jay and Stace. And this is that we do a lot of sailing around the world, and in particular myself, I'm in San Fran in the next 2 weeks. I've done a lot of stuff in New Zealand, and these countries persistently stay away from ORC and IRC. For instance, New Zealand is PHRF. North America's is PHRF, and we're racing ORR for the Pac Cup. We see IRC has changed quite a lot over the years in terms of 20 years ago, it was beach balls, the 40.7s, which you just had to have. You couldn't win a regatta unless you had one. Now we're gone down the path of, racing boats, all these different sort of ratings that are around the world. I mean, the big question is, how do we make it so that the world can come together and go, okay, I agree on this rating? Well, that's the same trouble we have. So, like, Australian Sailing supports ORC and IRC, expecting market pressure to go one way or the other, and it just doesn't. So it's really a market pressure thing, and all of the rules have their sweet spots. Like where some boats are really, really well supported. I think if you look at IRC and ORC in general, they're pretty good overall. They support the wide, like just about any boat can win if they sail well. There's no doubt about it. But I mean, the thing is too, if it's garbage in, it's garbage out. So, the better the measurements, the better the weight, the better the rating. It's just there's no way to go around it. So
it does baffle me as to why these bigger countries. I mean, New Zealand is a massive powerhouse in sailing, and they still hang into PHRF, which is a performance-based handicap.
Because they have an attitude that says, why would I do something to a boat to slow it down? Which is why they think rating systems slow boats down, which I don't agree with.
My point was then that 20 years ago it did. 20 years ago, and that was the transgression from IMS to IRC, where the rule became so blatantly obvious that, and ORC to IMS, it was the same. The triangle or the corner of the square, if whatever you want to call it, got to the point where you had to be slower on the water to win regattas. IRC, I feel like IRC and ORC now has changed a little bit because, I mean,
But there are people that are still out there arguing that you see people lowering their ratings and trying to make the boats get a lower rating.
I mean, I work very closely with Britain Ward, you know that, from Far Yachts, and my boat, the X2, is not slowed down one little bit. I can't put any more power up. In fact, I'm taking power down a lot earlier than anyone else, and IRC-wise, the boat still performs. I think that that's the. I guess from a performance point of view, I want to see cruiser racers compete, but I want to see new boats get designed. That's the problem I've got with ratings.
Well, I think the rating systems currently produce, like particularly ORC and IRC, which is the only ones I can really talk about. They produce safe, generally powerful boats. Like they're
100% agree with you right now. Yep.
I do see a slight tendency in that they're starting to penalise high stability a bit it seems to be being penalised a bit more than I would like it to be, because I think they should be encouraging high stability. But I mean, generally, they are pretty good systems, and they're producing a safe ocean racing boat, which is exciting to sail. And I don't know what the secret is. You could get World Sailing to stipulate something, but I just don't. They won't do that. And it's really based on what the market wants. And you're saying that IRC is probably not as strong in the US as it has been, but ORC is actually quite strong through North America. But ORR is quite strong as well.
Well, we're racing in ORR in the Pac Cup in 3 weeks now. I don't know the rule from a bar of soap, so I'm trusting my team that they're all over it, and yeah.
It's always quite interesting. It looks like it uses the same VPP as ORC, so I don't know how that happens.
Well, yeah, but what they've actually done with this particular event is they've made sure that the weather is actually more like ORC. The weather is at the input weather, the forecasted weather is inputted. And so, yeah. Anyway, look, it's just a point that I think the question the whole world's got is, why is there so many different rating systems?
Yeah, and your guess is as good as mine on this one. It's everyone seems to think that their system's better, and they keep promoting it. It's hard. It's like the trouble with all rating systems. If you use single number, it's only really good if you end up in a race with random wind. If you use a specific number, it's only good if the wind does that. ORC is currently experimenting with using predict wind to do a predicted route.
Yep.
It's relatively successful as long as the weather follows the route. But I mean, I don't know. Apart from can racing, you can't actually get a prediction that's good enough to be able to calculate an actual VPP for a long race. It just becomes like that. And short of us all going to one design boats, it
just remains clear as mud.
Yes, exactly. And it's always going to be, unfortunately, unless someone comes up with this system where everyone feels they're being well treated. But one of the problems is too, you don't win like I said it earlier, if you don't sail well, you won't win a race. So
which is 100% true.
Yeah. So, and I think all systems give you that advantage. It's just a pain that we can't get down to one system or two systems. But that's the free market economy, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, I think we'll probably have to call it there, Chris. There's so much to discuss like this. I think we could go back. I know we're going to get a ton of emails because I didn't ask this question or I didn't ask that question, and that's fine. We can always come back and do it again, but and talk to different systems. But I think the big thing for my observation is that insurance costs go up, crew costs go up, rating costs. I think expense is climbing and climbing and climbing, and that's probably why things are tapering off. That would be my answer to that discussion point. But I'm sure people will write in and we're happy to give you any of the feedback if you want. But I feel like we only touched like a tiny bit of the surface there.
I think as I said to you, it's a segue to another episode. I don't think that the ratings conversation is ever going to be done in an hour. I think people like talking about it though.
Like I haven't even got halfway through what I've got here. I haven't even got through page 1 of my notes here yet. So
I don't even think it's part 2. I think this needs to be a mini series.
we could actually just do Bar Karate, the rating system podcast.
You know what this would be?
Yeah, it might get boring.
Oh no, it would make it funny.
This would be a classic episode to do live.
Live callers.
Yeah, we need live callers though.
No, in a public hall, like with people have asked us a lot of times to do it, and I think that would be it might be one that I'm not sure if that'd go too well or not, but we'll see. Anyway,
Chris, we do need to hear how your phone call numbers, if they have increased or decreased after this
Well, yeah.
Please don't count any of my phone calls, okay?
I do my best to answer them all. I do my best to respond to all emails. But I pass a lot of them off over to Mel now, so she can answer them for me.
I guess the closing point is, the rating system shouldn't be your enemy. It's something you should work with. You should treat it as something to maximise your performance on the water, and that that the measurers are there to help and not necessarily make it hard for you. So do the right thing and get it done.
And people ring me up, and I advise them, particularly like there's a lot of stuff we haven't even gone near, but like head sails, for instance. For people to try and interpret how many head sails they should carry on their certificate. I've done it a number of times. I ring people up and say, you really need 6 head sails, because like when you read the rule, you can normally knock them down to 2 or 3, and it improves their rating. Don't be afraid to try it. People want to ring, because I'm here to help. I'm not here to just give you a bad rating. Unless they bad rate me, of course.
Very cool.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Chris, again, super appreciate you taking the time. I suspect we'll be talking to you some more. But yeah, continue good luck, and hope everyone enjoyed this discussion. It's a big one.
Yep. Thank you very much. It's been really, really good.
Good on you, mate. Keep up the good work. Cheers.
Yep. Everyone have a good sail. When are you going again, Stacey?
It's probably tomorrow for all I know right now. I think the jet lag's hitting in pretty hard. But I'll see you at the end of a tape measure soon, Chris. No
worries. All right. I'm happy. Thank you very much. It's been a very pleasurable afternoon.
I don't think it has to be scary, this whole ratings thing. I think it is. I think it's one of those things that you just get done and make it happen. And if it's right, if your boat's right, then it comes down to you on the water.
Yeah.
None of this sort of wobbling around trying to make it right by changing things. I mean,
I do think that we need to drive people to just build the fastest boats. I think that's the one thing I like. Brett Whitbread discussed that with me a lot, and the one thing about Brett is he just loves fast boats, and I agree with it. I love fast boats and going quick and stuff, and so playing around with ratings it's what everyone's going to do. But yeah, it can be I don't know how we all get to a nice comfortable space on this. All I want to do is get on a boat we'll do the Hobart with Stace and Chris, and we'll be sweet. Yeah. Stace has got that short tape measure, I think.
Yeah. I'm never allowed to use it, or I'm never at home to use it. One of the two. I can never remember.
I'm just always at the dumb end.
If you are feeling dumb and you wanted to try and do it a little bit better, then maybe you could jump on board to our friends at Radix Nutrition. That might be one way.
Does that stop you from being dumb as well?
It does. You got to you basically, if you go to the Radix Nutrition website, you'll see it says, what's your goal? Do you want to eat healthy? Do you want to increase your protein, more energy, weight loss, on the go, outdoors, or stop being dumb? So if you want to try any one of those things, just jump onto Radix Nutrition, use Barkarati as the discount code, and then of course you can get a discount on us, and you can change your life using Radix Nutrition. And of course our mate there, Craig, he's going to be very much keen. Chris, sorry. I was going through different names in my head for different things. But Chris, if he is getting inundated with the phone calls, Chris,
I think it's important that he does. I think he does get it.
We're going to set up the disruptormarinemarketing.com.au response, so where you can answer some of these questions using the AI bot, the AI receptionist, so you won't miss a single call, and you'll be able to get out and measure as many boats as possible.
Well, he can get back out on the water again. He can go sailing instead of having to talk to people.
That's it. So try it out, disruptormarinemarketing.com.au, and it'll fix any issues when it comes to communication, reputation, word of mouth, and go from there.
But what it can't do is fix your IRC rating. Everything but that. That's how good it is.
I don't know. Give it a go.
Love it. Love it.
Maybe that's where we got to go. AI bots measuring the boats.
I did think of that.
Now, apparently, you
that
can't do your tax returns either.
Yeah. I don't trust it at all. At all. I don't trust it. I know you love it, BP. You're playing in there a lot, but yeah, I don't.
I only love it because it makes me look really efficient.
Yep. I hear you. Right. Sad news. This is a big one. Everyone's commented on it, but one of the great offshore sailors of the world, and a man that just blew my mind so many times watching him sail, Charlie Darling, has passed. We all knew that he was unwell. And, he stopped sailing a few years ago, but he seemed to just be like World Sailor of the Year on the Vendée, won everything. He was untouchable, and it's just so sad. Such a young.
It is 100% sad. But do you mind if I just sort of take this on a bit, because one of the other part of the Bar Karadian clan, if you like, Simon Fisher, has done a lot of sailing with Charlie, and the way I look at this is I consider Simon one of the best sailors on the planet. Like what he has achieved, and what he has said about Charlie is quite touching. And I'll just quickly run through this because he put it on his thing today, and I'll just go through it because it touches the nerve. So, heartbroken by the news of Charlie's passing, he was truly a legend of the sport. What he achieved in his sailing career was simply incredible. At this sad time, I'm feeling very grateful that we had the opportunity to sail together during the last ocean race. The transatlantic leg that we did together is one I look back at most fondly. He could sail on a mocha at full pace in the most challenging conditions like no one else. His energy, his attitude, and his undeniable sailing talent made one of the most challenging legs of the race incredibly fun. We shared jokes and stories, and we laughed a lot. Working for him during the last Vendée Globe campaign was a privilege, and I feel honoured to have been able to contribute in some tiny part to his incredible success. Some tiny part. I mean, God, sci-fi was a pretty big part of this, but what he did out on the water was never anything less than outstanding. Most of all, I'm proud to call him a friend, and my thoughts go out to his family, friends, and the sailing community at this difficult time. Sail on, my friend. I hope we can meet one day again. I mean, it just shows the level of legend of this guy that another legend could have these sort of words for him. So again, it is sad and way too young, but ballet.
I think the outcry all over the world and with tributes towards Charlie is it sums up who he was and what he did and how much he achieved, as well as family guy, young. So it's really sad news, and I think we can all aspire to do just a fraction of what he did in his career, and we'd be great sailors ourselves.
Very cool. Yeah, sympathy to everyone, family, Charlie's family and loved ones. All right, we'll move on to what continues to be sailing. Of course, a lot of events coming up over the next few weeks. There's some really interesting ones. Obviously, Sail GP kicks off in Canada. That's June 20 to 21. We also saw the 27 calendar come out, and there's some big changes on that. None of it's a surprise to those who are in the know, but there is a couple of major changes. One is no Auckland, no Sydney. I'm not going to say anything about that, but we see Hong Kong. We'll kick off the season in January. Then we go to Perth, which will be the best event. And then we're straight into San Francisco, which is another awesome event. Bermuda, that's an awesome event. Halifax, so in May. And then New York. And then Portsmouth, Portsmouth in July, which is the same as it coming up. And
Portsmouth.
Portsmouth. You idiot.
Just up from Weymouth.
Yeah.
Yarmouth.
Sassnitz in Germany, which is insane. Last time we were there. Valencia, Rome, Rio, and Dubai, and the grand final.
Valencia,
yeah. So big
That's
calendar
a good place
there.
For it.
Should be good. Another quick one. Contender Worlds kick off July 4th to 12th at the Regatta
It's already
Centre.
won, isn't it?
Well, yeah, pretty much. Medemblik.
Balker's got it again.
Oh, don't put the curse. Well, actually, he's got the reverse curse, so he's fine. We can say whatever
He's
we
got
want.
that many reverse curses.
Yeah.
He's okay.
Yeah. TP52 Worlds in Porto they're coming, which will be cool. I think, 15 boats, 11 different nations.
Another horrible place to sail.
Yeah. So that's going to be quite cool. That's obviously they've got their Super Series going, but this is the World Champs. Okay, so deciding the World Champion, not the Super Series Champion. Then there's the Round Island race gets underway 20 June from Wicklow. So we've got a bit of love from Ireland. And then the Ulswater Yacht Club's Lord Burkett Trophy. This is a big one. Have you guys got your heads around that one at all?
No, have not.
I love my Irish mates.
Who's Lord Burkett?
Yeah. It's a big one. It is it's limited. You got to apply. I think they limited it to 200 boats, and then everyone that's
Good on them.
Yeah, well, it sells out basically. So that's what they do, and so you know, I think it's run what you brung sort of thing. And there's one start line. I'm just going. I've got to try and find my notes. Ian Turnbull sent me a little note just to remind me, but it's a massive event in Ireland, and been going for a while. I'm just going back through 72, I think, is where it started. 1972, been going for a long while. And Mike Wilson, the lovely Mike Wilson, from the Isle of Man on the National 18 Ultra, and sailing with one Stewie Bithell. So Mike and Stewie often sailing together. So they were the last winners of the event in 2025. But this is a big event. Lord Burkett was a judge and a member of the House of Lords, and sort of promoted.
Full of knowledge, aren't you?
Well, it's on the little thing I'm reading. Anyway,
I love it. It's capped at 200 boats. I'm like as if
I know.
Oh, we can only take 200 this year.
Yeah,
single line start too.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so it is pretty full bore.
Love it.
So, yeah. So good luck to everyone on that. Jack Lloyd Listener of the Week, presented by our friends at Vycobi. And boy, are Vycobi doing some stuff at the moment.
They're all over it.
All over it. There's some good stuff going on. My missus it was cold last weekend in Queensland. Big southerly came through, and
How did you know that?
because I was in
How
Queensland.
did you know she was cold?
Because I watched her steal somebody's Vycobi beach coat and put it on and wrap herself up in it. And I was just going to this huge beach coat thing and was wrapped up in it. And she was going, "Can I buy one of these?" And I said, "Sure, babe, whatever you want. I'm here for you." So, Vycobi do all sorts of stuff. They're always coming up with
Certainly do.
cool stuff. And I feel my loyalty for Vycobi is quite strong because I was out paddling this morning with my Vycobi shorts, my Vycobi top, my Vycobi buoyancy vest. It was just.
I'm the same. I've got all my gear. This Pat Cup, the Pat's
good times.
Obviously supporting us with, which is fantastic. But I don't know what to call the boat now. Is it Vycobi Shake and Bake or Shake and Bake by Vycobi?
Don't know, but I wonder, BP. I wonder. Our first message we got this week was from Anton Pasov, I think.
Yes.
Entering.
Pasov, yes. Our first yacht to enter a race in the Barcarati under the Barcarati Yacht Club.
We haven't even formed it, and he's entered as a member of Barcarati Yacht Club.
Well, hey, look, I've done the Burgee.
Oh, the Burgee looks good, actually. You have come up with a good idea there. So
I've outdone myself there. And
Yeah.
I'll put it up on the website. I'll put it up on the.
Did you see it, Stace? It's on the web.
Yeah.
Your WhatsApp chat.
I mean, I think we've got to have a vote on which one of those three options, right?
Yeah, but it's
Put it to the people.
the combination of
Well,
the
do you know
beef-
the funniest part? If you read the actual the actual sort of explanations of it, and I'll go through it because it's quite funny. We've got a couple of seconds. So there is BK, right? So BK, the Bravo flag is the red flag with the tails, which actually means I'm taking in, discharging, or carrying dangerous goods. So that's the B. And the K is a yellow and blue vertical stripes, which means I wish to communicate with you. So it's perfect for BK, Barcarati. So, I think it's quite cool.
We are discharging dangerous goods.
Discharging dangerous goods. I want to communicate with you because we're discharging dangerous goods.
Right.
That's great.
Sorry, Jay.
No, Justin Bellinger sent us a note about the merch page. We have no idea what's going on. We haven't been able to work it out. There's something, it's stopped working. If you do want something, just email us at cheers@barkarati.com. But yeah, the merch page for some reason stopped working. We're going to we might try and set it up on Facebook, I think, and do a Facebook shop. But also, we're going to do more and more.
I think we are heading down the Bar Karate Yacht Club as well. So let's just keep hanging in there. I'm working on it.
Well, Vycobi, we're basically making to order. So we're going to do the caps. They've got the sun shirts. You can just go straight to the Vycobi website, which is way more efficient than just going to us.
Have they got a super sub range?
Have they?
That's a good idea.
I love it.
Because I feel like I'm going to need, that 3 days of winter's coming up quickly here in Queensland, so I might need a hoodie or something.
I've got you covered.
Setting the Stacey.
I'll sort you down. I'll sort you out, Stace.
Just the standard.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's a genuine email. So Paul Swanson, we got an email talking about equal opportunities in sailing, and so
which is one of the ones I was sort of mentioning earlier at the start with Karen.
Yeah. Just listening to Karen and the conversation about gender. I previously never thought there was a problem with gender inequality in sailing. The boat I sailed on regularly had women on board, starting with my mum on runners. I've met my wife through racing, and back when I was a fully fledged member of the four-deck union, my ideal setup consisted of my wife on strings because I knew she would keep up with whoever was on the mast and another girl mid-bow. A penis wasn't a minimum requirement. There was a little less ego on board and we all got along. My first signs of inequality I saw was when my wife was part of the female representative team and they had to pay for their team shirts from the club where the boys team got given the shirts. Some of us kicked up a stink and the girls ended up being lent shirts which they had to wash and return the following week even though they won the regatta. Later on in life, when the boat we sailed on was sold during a handover sale, the new owner said he didn't race with women because they were a distraction. We may be progressing with quotas, creating a degree of normality in some version of the sport, and it's very positive to see that grassroots is developing as the misogynistic types are less accepted by the younger generations. In saying that, you only need to look at Australian sailing posts on Facebook where they put up a rainbow logo to see that there's still progress and to be made to ensure everyone feels safe in the sport. And I think he's not having a go at Australian sailing, he's probably having a go at the comments that went alongside that. Keep up the good work, doing your bit to make sure we hear stories from all corners of the sport. Why would people have any issues? So, Stace, I don't know if you want to say anything. I don't want to really tie it to you at all.
Back.
Hey?
Hold me back. I'm fine.
Love it.
Well, we know we've got your back, Stace.
Yeah. No, I surround myself with the good ones,
Yep. Now, the other one was a discussion around Sardinia. So Ian Turnbull, obviously, Bar Karate 18, skiff sailor. Great to see the Sardinia Cup this week. Looked like they had some amazing races. Sorry to see Jolt had to count the retirement in a very windy double points on non-discard offshore. Is that all right, Stace?
Yeah. That was a tough one to swallow.
But as they say,
it'll come up in the next one. But go on, keep going with the email.
Finish. First, you first must finish. One point of note that there may be more people who have also achieved this, but Tom Dawson from the UK was on the Jolt small boat at the Admirals Cup last year, and on it. For the Sardinia Cup. So he's the only person to be on a winning team for both the Admirals Cup last year and Sardinia Cup this year. Also a top lad. He was my mirror crew back in the day. A bit of a free plug. That's a good call. Winning both the Admirals and the Sardinia Cup. Woo!
I wonder if Tom's aware of that.
Yeah. I suspect he must be. Yeah. Anyway.
Now he is, because I'm sure he's listening.
I'd be worried if he wasn't.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers. Cheers at barkarati.com.
Something like that.
If you want to contribute. Right. Let's move this on.
It's hot time with Bites.
Yeah, hot time without Bice, because it would be a weird title if it was hot time with both of our names in it. So we won't do that.
Well, there was a photo. The photo's out.
Well, it just had to be proof of life. I just wanted everyone to know that I haven't
I
done
found him.
anything to get the full-time gig. I haven't taken him out or anything like that. So, ran into Bicey there in Portacervo. Like you say, we've mentioned already in the show, Portacervo is a terrible place to go sailing for a week, but, had to do it.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you. I guess commiserations go out to you, Stace.
Yeah.
No, it's tough, but
It
you'll get
was.
through it. You'll get
It was
through it.
the Bicey Southern Spas coffee cart in the morning.
Oh, how was it?
Nice little treat, and only probably outshone by the gelato cart in the afternoon.
Oh, now we're talking.
Well, who did the gelato cart?
Yeah.
Range Rover. Yeah,
Right.
the title sponsor of the regatta. So
There's going to be there's a challenge on. There's a challenge on for
I don't
Bryce
drink
now.
coffee, so I wouldn't have seen him.
He really doesn't give a stuff about the sailing now. He's going to be on this cart thing.
Yeah.
You could anyway.
I like it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
So Sardinia Cup kicked off. First time, I think it's 14 years since that event was last run. Same format as the Admiral's Cup team event. As Ian pointed out in his email, that I was sailing with the Jolt guys. We did suffer some damage in the long race, where it was a non-droppable race and it was double points, so it was a tough one to
swallow.
carry.
Yes.
What was that?
It's a tough one to swallow. Yes.
Yeah, it is. So, but I think we finished the regatta as we intended to do it. we had a few bullets at the end, which was nice to know that we were on track. And congratulations to the winning teams, particularly Veritas, the 52, which we know as the Hooligan, the ex-Hooligan.
Yep.
I think that's one of his sort of maiden events with the boat, and they did a great job. And
Good effort, yeah.
Credit to Tom Dawson, one of my ex-teammates on the Jolt was there. And a punishing week too, sailing in the Mistral. We did start the long race in 34 knots of wind. So, for everyone, there's some great footage out there if you want to watch it of bowmans with life jackets inflated and all sorts of things. It was a full submarine race going off the start line straight into a 35 knot run. So it was good value. So.
And what Class 2 was the top there, and the Royal Ocean Racing Club.
Yeah, so that was actually our teammate. Jolt's teammate was Ran in Sardinia Cup 2, Class 2, and they won their division, which was really well sailed by the Ran guys in a very inshore boat in tough conditions.
Wow.
As a team, we finished third overall, but they individually got first, and we got fourth, carrying our points.
Love it.
Very cool.
Yeah. So to a different part of the world, the Tazar world is kicking off right now.
Well, nearly done, I think.
Done, really, aren't they?
Yeah. Been seeing some emails from Alistair Murray, but they're in Okinawa in Japan, so. At a beautiful tropical beach resort, the Okuma Private Beach Resort. And now Okuma Private Beach Resort, if you wish to send me some free tickets and accommodation.
Alistair Murray was looking forward, old AM was looking forward to this one, wasn't he, when we had
He's
him on
doing well,
last year?
mate. It's like well over 100 competitors, and AM is up in 13th at the moment. So when I last checked, he's pretty happy. But I think it's run and done, I think. But
so have you got some numbers there for us?
Yeah, Dalton Bergen and Lindsay Bergen. Just in case you're unaware, if you're a non-Taser sailor in the US, you've got to sail with a family member. It's the law.
Family member to be.
And then from the US in second place was Jonathan McKee and Libby McKee.
Just always, aren't they?
Yeah, they're amazing. They're just so good. I don't think many people have actually ever beaten them. Like they just pop up once every few years. And then the Japanese crew of Ito and Muragashi in third place. But yeah, fantastic performance. A lot, like hundreds of people. Alistair Murray finished 15th. There you go.
That's a fantastic effort.
It is amazing effort. So what a great performance. And
with his daughter?
No, with Kyoko Kuono. Local
from Perth,
Japanese girl, yeah.
the girl from Perth.
Yeah, they had her retired on the race 10. That might have caused an issue. They had a bad end of the regatta. He had a race win. So, oh, hang on, I missed it. Wrong line. My apologies. I got to the wrong line. He got black flagged second last race. Bloody hell. Yeah.
Bloody idiot.
And then and a retirement. Yeah, righto. Anyway, so Taser Worlds.
Looks like he went for the win for the boat ramp in the last race.
Love it.
Sometimes just as important, isn't it?
So many worlds on at the moment.
Oh, okay, Worlds.
Okay, Worlds. Yeah. That's been pretty cool. I think that's run and done as well. Johan
out. 203 boats.
Yep. And they're only okay. So imagine
okay.
if they were great boats.
Imagine if they were awesome.
You're not even standard.
Oh.
No, just okay. Don't even hit the Stacey.
Yeah. How do you reckon?
Yeah, looks run and done.
Yep. Vans Lanlair. I wonder if I pronounced that even close. And Matty Howard, I got that one right in third. So, wow, massive fleet. It's good to see.
John Schubert, Warner's Laher, and Matthew Howard. Yeah. Yes. Well, you know, the funny thing was, I was sitting in the palace the other day, as one does, because it's nice to sit there. And the boys were there from the OK, all of them, right? And I could have sworn that it was 2 weeks ago that the OK Worlds were on in Lake Garda.
Yeah. Well,
just so, and he said, no, it was last July. I'm going far out.
Well, the contenders are going to have that because they go straight from
another lap of the sun
in July, and then the Aussie Worlds in January. So, yeah. Keep going, my friend.
Oh. Then we got the Musto Skiff.
Yeah.
World Champs.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of World Champs going on right now.
It's non-stop. Musto Skiff Worlds are on. I think they're still going. I haven't got any details on that, but I've been watching the highlights on YouTube. So if you are into the Musto Skiffs, it's quite a battle. They had really windy first couple of races, and then it's turned into beautiful. They're in Karnak in France, and it's turned into beautiful, like 10 to 12 knot.
You ever sailed a Musto skiff, Joe?
I did a test for a boat magazine on one many years ago.
Anything with a photograph?
But yeah. So they're, I think overall results. I'm just trying to find the results because I didn't have them up, and just trying. But they're pretty cool boats, you know. Like there's still a lot of demand for them. Has anyone else sailed them? Not just me.
No, I've never sailed one.
No, we used to have a little fleet of them in Brisbane for a while there.
Yeah.
And they put us on the same start line as the moths, so they tip over as easily as a moth does. So seems about right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. They do tip over quite easily. There's no question about that. But you know, skiff.
I wouldn't have a problem with the boat tipping over. I had a problem with me tipping over.
Yep. I think, but if you're into them, there is plenty of. I'm genuinely trying to find the results if I can, but I'm not getting it easily. I wish people would make it easy, but there's generally great footage on YouTube. Oh, here we go. I finally got to results. They've buried right down the bottom. My God, how many overall results? 4? Righto. At the moment, I hope this is worth it. Robert Richardson I've got at the top of the tree. From the UK, Eddie Birdle, Robbie Richardson has dominated. Let's just say that Eddie Birdle,
picket fence,
and then not a picket fence, and then Benny Clegg. Okay,
Cleggo.
I feel exhausted chasing that one. All right, anything more, Stacey?
Well, we do too. Watching you.
Yeah, I apologise. It's super professional.
And the Vendée Arctic is heading around in some seriously cold parts of the world right now. Our friend there, Sam Goodchild.
Yep.
Oh, he's just a weapon, isn't he? He's going from strength to strength. He's just carrying too many reverse curses.
He's playing. He's got a little bit of a thing going on. Are you looking at the tracker team?
Yeah, he's obviously going in the opposite.
He's going.
Well, I mean, there isn't a rule. There isn't a course. You just got to get back to the finish line. But it looks like he's going to go
east of Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a big lead. He's got a fairly good lead there on the next guys, a couple 100 miles. So it'll be interesting to see where the next boat goes.
But we do have to highlight, like, this just the talent that's coming out of France. The Elodie Bonifus in second, and then Alexander our old mate Ambrogio Beccaria from Italy, and then Violette Durange, and then Francesca Klapic. So your top 5 is 3 women, 2 men. There you go.
Yeah.
Love it.
That is cool.
What was the Italian one again?
Ambrogio Beccaria. I didn't use enough hand movements.
Right. I think that's correct. Yeah.
I think I got it pretty close. And I
It's
don't
not
mean
bad,
that
is it?
just with
Don't
any
you love it,
disrespect.
Jace? You just got to as you become more of a sort of into this sort of thing, you do pick up on what we need to keep re-elaborating with Jay, and you get him to do it a few times. It's fun.
Yeah.
You know what I like about you lot? Nothing. Yeah. So that's a good race. You've got to be mad to go up to the Arctic Circle, but anyway, they do. So
I mean, it looks seriously cold. I've been following Francesca Klapic's social media, and she's not selling it to me.
No.
It's cold.
Yeah,
she's got a lot of clothes.
You haven't signed the brochure.
No, my feet are still warming up from having gone south. So
My wife and I, when we were doing lots of camping out in the middle of the cold air, we bought from Aldi these sleeping bag things that have got hands and legs, and you can walk around and stuff. And it looks like that's what Francesca's got herself one as well. She's fully rugged up. So, yeah. The Fiji Surf Pro, I just put that in there. That's windsurfing. So the World Wave Sailing Tour, they've been sailing.
They haven't touched on windsurfing for a while, have we?
No, we haven't. But they've been sailing at Cloudbreak in Fiji, which is full bore, and the footage. There's some great footage on YouTube of that in the last couple of days. So I just I think it was won by Bern Rodiger, and then Jane Seaman won the women's. But if you're looking for, it was just all-time conditions.
We might have to get back on that little bandwagon, because there was for a while there we had a bit of a windsurfing sort of thing going on, didn't we?
We've had the greats. We had the 2 greatest of all time. So.
Oh my God, I've never been starstruck, Sace, until that day.
Yeah,
Robbie Nash.
Robbie Nash.
The great Robbie Nash.
And then we followed up with Bjorn
Dunkerbeck.
And then we followed up with Phil McGain. It's like...
Actually, I'm going to Hawaii. I should try and catch him up.
He's in Maui. Oh, he's a great man.
There you go.
As any good windsurfer is. The other one I wanted to talk about quickly was I just had a look at the new IMOCA boat that was launched last week.
Have you seen it?
The DMG Mori one. Have you guys seen
Unbelievable.
that?
I love it. Did
you see that, Stace?
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Oh,
what a team!
Hey, that's I think that's the last one for the skipper, but that's Guillaume Verdier design with multiplast build, and
the article was cool. No limits, go to the edge.
It's kind of like it's got. How do you describe the hull?
No limits, go to the edge.
Like a spaceship, really, isn't it?
It's very cool. It's a complete game changer. So it could be anything. I don't know. Like it could be.
I don't think Verdier would do anything that would be wrong. I mean, if he's got complete freedom, he's got ideas. You know him as well as anyone.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got someone that comes to you and says open slather.
Very cool. They're such
little hands rubbed together, and he goes, "Yes, please."
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you haven't seen it, you've got to check out the photos, right, of the launch of the boat. It's
and a pretty solid
photos.
looking team as well. I mean, there's some good people there.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be
Davies
cool to follow that along.
Full bore team. You're exactly right. So Kojiro Shiraishi
should try and get him on.
Yeah. Cool.
If he speaks English, obviously.
Yeah.
Sure he would.
Probably French and Japanese.
Probably French. That would be good for you, Jay. You speak good French.
Stace, I don't know why I deal with these idiots, and I thought you'd come in and help, but you've contributed. So
he's laughing. She thinks it's funny too.
No, well, I was waiting for a bit of that to die down. I was just going to mention the female sailors on their team for the Ocean Race Atlantic is Sam Davies, the the legend herself, and young Arissa.
Yes.
Who is done? She did a fair bit of time in Sydney, and she's the perfect example of just keep working hard and create the opportunities to succeed. And here she is. She's lining up to do already. I mean, she's super young already, lining up to be on in a mocha for the Ocean Race Atlantic, and then the Ocean Race.
Maybe we should get her on and talk about the Ocean Race Atlantic. I want to do something before that kicks off.
We should try and sort of find out exactly how Sydney launched her to that level, because ultimately that's what it was.
Yeah, look, that'd be awesome, and I'll have to kneecap Bicey for that episode, because I'd love to be involved. Because
you know her.
Yeah, I chatted with her a lot. She was asking me questions on what to do and how to do it, and.
Time for you to put your big boots on, your grown-up boots.
Now I want to ask her questions.
Now you have to ask her to come on the show. You have to put your grown-up boots on and go and get her and say, would you like to come on our show, the Bar Karate, the Sailing Podcast? So go on.
And tell us how to do it. Yep, done.
All right, that's your goal for the week. Go on.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, I'm off now, or should we get the show first?
All right, I think we're going to
I think we're done, aren't we?
Yeah, we're done. I think poor old Stace's eyes are starting to bug out a little bit, so we'll call it there.
Bloody awesome, Stace.
Awesome
Love
show.
having you on the show. It's always good.
Yeah, Stace. So much. Thanks for setting a new standard, setting a new Stace.
Setting a new Stace.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for listening. I hope you have a great week. It has been a ton of fun pulling this together for you. Remember to reach out to us at cheers@barkarate.com. And of course, our friends at Vycobi, our friends at Radix Nutrition, use Bar Karate as the discount. And then check out disruptormarinemarketing.com.au. Disruptor is DISRUPTA. Have a great week, and keep going. My wife's been practicing guitar a bit there. I should give her to play yours.
I've got him here.
Right here.